and welcome to Command Center, your video game book club podcast. My name is Daniel, and with me is...
All right, my name is... Sure.
And?
The co-host, the second host, Nathaniel M. Well in front of... Sure! And his third hostedness.
Also known as... What
the hell are you guys talking about? Was that shit that was in the game?
Yes.
Yeah, no,
I played the whole damn thing without my headphones on.
They talked like Sims, kind of.
Oh, God, I'm so
Not
glad.
kind of. Pretty, like,
really glad
spot
I didn't
on.
put my headphones on. Like,
No, you missed a lot. It's really funny.
I don't think I missed much.
It does get old. It does get old.
So does this game.
Yeah. And it's already old.
So if you haven't gathered thus far from those strange noises we were making, and if you didn't listen last month, shame on you. But we played Sid Meier's Pirates this month. A little bit about the game. It came out in 2004 on Xbox and PC. Later on, and I don't know if you guys knew this, it came out on mobile and iPad.
Oh.
Makes sense. Looking back, it would probably translate well to that.
Looking back at me!
Oh, God!
If it had come out more recently, I wonder if it would have transferred to Smart Fridge.
No, only Skyrim is on Smart Fridge.
Just
What?
dead. That joke was dead immediately.
So it was developed by Fireaxis, published by Atari, and later on was published by 2K. Also, another thing that I didn't know that Nate and I were just talking about, I think you were inside, Jay, it was a remake of a 1987 game.
82.
Really?
87.
Oh, okay.
87?
This says 1982.
Okay, well, the one I looked at said 87. Who gives a fuck? It's a remake of an old game from the 80s. Of the same name, Sid Meier's Pirates, and that originally came out on the Commodore 64. Got an 88 on Metacritic overall. I think the Xbox port got an 80. Computer Games Magazine named it the second best game in 2004. Problem being, it came out at the same year as World of Warcraft. So they won. So I think they probably would have won if it wasn't for that. X-Play, you guys remember that show?
Yeah.
G4?
When G4 used to
G4,
exist,
yeah.
with
Chris Hardwick.
Who's
man.
the she became an actress. She's in one of the Avengers.
Was it Olivia?
Olivia Munn, yeah.
She was in
Wait,
Avengers?
Olivia Munn was on G4?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the co-host.
Yeah, not on
Of X-Play.
Not, was
Wow.
it X-Play or was she was on because there were two shows?
It was X-Play with the
X-Play?
other guy, the balding guy that was the co-host.
All right, sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I remember her first on House when she actually got her breakout acting role.
I didn't know that she was in anything else after X-Play.
No, yeah, her first thing or after that was House, and then that's when she pretty much got
She
her.
was one
got
of
her
the
shit.
stardom.
She was in an Avengers movie, wasn't she?
No,
Like,
I think you're
diving
thinking
into
of
it?
You're thinking of
Colby
Smothers.
Smolders.
Smothers.
Smothers.
What the fuck are you guys? What is
It's
Colby?
Robin from
That's
How I Met Your
Robin.
Mother. They look similar.
Oh,
Yeah, they
no,
kinda
but I
look
swear,
similar.
yeah. No, I mean, I know she's in there. Oh, Colby Small. Okay, all right, gotcha.
Fucking awesome name.
But yeah, they on X-Play nominated it for Best Strategy Game, but lost to one of our favorites, Nate and myself, Rome Total War,
Yeah.
which is another bad beat.
And a
'cause-
full better game.
yeah, 100% a better game. They
It
deserved
to
it.
lose in
but-
that game.
And the only other thing I have to say about this as far as background goes, I didn't know this, but they have an Easter egg on there. If you play the game on National Talk Like a Pirate Day, the characters talk like pirates, which, haha, kind of cool, but shouldn't they do that in the normal game all the time?
Yeah.
Well, they're probably, from what I'm thinking, is to cut corners and paying voice actors that just had gibberish.
But they apparently paid them and did it for one day a year.
Yeah, well, you don't pay somebody 1/365th of their contract price so that you only play it once a year. Why would
Yeah.
it not- and the
So if they
files
already have it in
there.
there, they should have a mod to enable that so you don't have to keep on hearing the Sims talk, I think.
I looked it up. You were 100% wrong. It didn't come out in 82. It came out in 87. No comment back from you, sir.
Wait, so what the hell were you looking at?
When Microprose was founded and Civilization came out.
Also, you didn't ask us what we were playing, and completely negated my every episode joke.
Yeah, it's gotten old.
Well, it's
What'd he
gotten
say?
old, but apparently we're gonna do it weekly.
I know, I got a little
soon.
tired of saying, hey, you guys played any video games lately?
It's kind of.
Hold on.
I guess that's when we go on a tangent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you guys, good job.
We're
Yeah.
kind of on a
Good job,
cosign right
I've been playing Doom.
now. He has been playing
Eternally.
a lot of Doom. I would love to look up if you've played more Doom in the last week than I have Hoy.
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been. playing
I would say both
fucking
Doom
wheels on the floor.
2016 and Eternal.
But
because
if you combine the two, but I play Hoy for 7 hours every night.
no, okay, so I probably wouldn't average that much,
Yeah,
just because it's so fucking stressful.
Ever since Law Resistance came out, I have been literally fully addicted, aggressively.
Yeah, because you weren't addicted before.
Well, listen.
I
Previously, I was given rim jobs for crack. Now I'm doing whatever they want for the
Wow.
think you
crack.
meant RimWorld.
Oh yeah, RimWorld. Sorry. I was given RimWorld for crack.
I'm just saying, it scratches that halo itch that I haven't had since.
They make pills for that.
That's a severe infection of your anus.
Or
It's just circular because it's an anus. It's
Oh,
not a
the
halo
Master
itch.
Chief
Ointment.
hemorrhoids.
Jesus Christ. Remember,
When we didn't say this kind of shit on the podcast?
remember
No, neither do I.
Every time we've come in and started recording within 30 minutes and not had 2 or 3 beers of time prior to recording, how we've not made really obscene jokes?
No.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't
thought it was just
understand
me.
what that question was. You weren't not just lying to me back then, were you? That was the most asinine way to ask something.
We've been sitting here for like an hour and a half drinking and then started recording versus
Nate, I've
recording-
had 2 beers.
Me too.
So what are you talking about?
Well, 2 beers is a lot of beer.
There was one of them was an IPA, I will say
Yeah,
that.
and it was a big
I've
one.
had 2 IPAs, and this is my 3rd one, so.
I also need to point out that between all 3 of us, there is a naked man in here.
I'm not naked.
Yeah?
Nate,
Oh,
Nate
I'm
is
lining all 3 of us.
Nate
Are
is
you not
sitting-
wearing underwear?
Nate is sitting here not wearing pants.
It's Florida fucking summer.
Jason is sitting here not wearing a shirt.
When he flexes his chest, his areola is stretched diagonally. It's fucking weird.
He keeps on. We already have the catch
Yeah, we
at the end. He keeps on trying to avoid it.
I do
Now,
so hard.
there's a reason for this. As
Wait. What are you naked in?
I am not naked. I'm getting there.
So collectively, we're all wearing underpants.
Yes.
Nobody's naked.
Okay. It's very hot out here. We can't have the AC on here in the command center while we record because it's very loud. And we care about our listeners.
Yeah.
To a degree. Speaking of degrees, it's hot as balls
Several
in here.
degrees. It's probably
Yeah,
what?
very much
Probably
so,
85 in here.
So, I mean, we just started. We'll see by the end of the episode how naked I get. So I might be joining you guys. But I just wanted to paint a mental picture to the detriment of all of our listeners right now of what's going on and what I'm looking at.
It's a preview for when we start our YouTube.
Yeah.
Personally,
This is what you have to look forward to.
I'm aiming to run this episode for at least an hour and a half because I have not yet seen
Daniel has left the server.
all of Daniel in his full naked glory, and I'm going to make that happen today.
I want to say that that's a lie,
No,
but I can't be sure because
I've never seen your junk.
It's not junk. It is pristine.
Well, I mean, I've never seen it because I don't have a microscope that powerful.
The small penis so funny.
I don't know. Whatever. Shut up.
Boss hog.
Let's get into this game.
Say.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So Jay, why don't you just tell everybody like a little bit about the game and how it works?
So it's basically if anybody, obviously, of our generation watched Pirates of the Caribbean, it's basically just a Pirates of the Caribbean sim. I would hearken it to probably Black Flag, just the ship aspects, but very more intricate. You have your own story. You're a person that a pirate comes to your mansion and then disperses all your family, and very heavily implied there was some very not so good hanky-panky things happening.
Wait. Pirates rape? No fucking way.
Yeah,
And pillage.
And pillage.
But yeah, just a great simulation of how I guess I'm not hope, but how things.
I hope people were raped.
I hope this was historically accurate. Of
Very clean.
those times. Other than that, no really like other realism.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the closest thing you'll get to realism was the economic part of it, where you buy a certain type of goods that's cheap in one port, and then you can sell it at another port, a richer place where it's more expensive. So they kept that in.
The events I liked. There was another thing where towns would turn over by year about who owned it. Whether it's you had Spanish, English,
Dutch
French and Dutch,
and Dutch, and the Dutch.
and
Dutch.
pirate coves, which were, I won't say they were uncommon, but there was
pirate havens and
yeah
Native American
holdings.
settlements.
Yeah, I really loved the realistic sailing aspect. Like they put a wind in there, which I'm not an experienced sailor, but
What?
the
You just play one on TV.
yeah, that's exactly it. But the fact that the wind was always coming from the east kind of bothered me.
Well, I mean, that's kind of realistic.
In the higher difficulties, it actually changed more.
All right, well, that's because the jet stream goes in the opposite direction, and the Gulf Stream as well. So the wind should be coming from the west more often than not the east.
So what I noticed is that in the higher difficulties, there's an aspect where your crew will, depending on how long you've been at sea, will get pissed at you depending on what you do. If you get enough money, if you get enough goods, if you find enough treasure,
And
then
magic
they'll
fiddles.
be okay.
Don't forget the magic fiddles.
Yeah, magic fiddles, and also what was it? Magic fiddles and
There were like
a
3
pipe.
items. Yeah, that
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple different items that will extend
They'll
the
keep
time.
them happy. Eventually you'll have to split your booty.
Evenly.
Evenly split the booty.
We're right back on this dog thing, aren't we? You guys are not going to let me forget about that shit.
You'll eventually have to, I think you take a year off and then you'll go sailing again with a new crew. And that's when, depending on, because it will stay the same on the lower difficulties, the way the wind goes. Mm-hmm. But if you're in the higher difficulties, it will change to the opposite way.
I did notice that, now I never got to the highest difficulty. I got to the second one, the one beneath it.
Same here. Fuck Rogue.
Yeah,
That was too hard.
But that, like, the wind would be overwhelmingly from the east, and then you'd go into combat, and suddenly the wind was overwhelmingly from the west. Well, you've been chasing a ship for fucking 5 minutes, because for me, I was in a war galleon, which was rather slow. I'd lost my royal sloop, which was pretty quick. And so I had to chase the damn ship down, finally get in range to start the combat, and suddenly the wind just completely reverses, throwing me directly into the wind, and my opponent now wheels about and has the weather gauge, the wind directly behind them, so they can more easily control their movements, which was somewhat frustrating, but it was a cool aspect that you actually had to tack into the wind. There's not so many naval sims, but there's a bunch, and the idea that one would have sail involved and that you would have to tack, where you go left and right, so you can progress forward at a 45-degree angle to the wind in your face, and so you had to keep zigzagging 90 degrees back and forth, which you never see in games. Like, even in Empire Total War, they have a wind gauge, but unless you're going directly into the wind, it doesn't really affect you that much.
Are there naval battles?
Yeah, in Empire there were naval battles. They got rid of them. I think they're in Shogun too, because they're difficult. They're fucking hard. This game had naval battles. I won't jump into it too hard, should I? I mean, like, they all degrade into, can you outsword fight the captain, like, very rapidly, which kind of frustrated me. But
It depends. I will say that, like, the CPU at some point, depending on, like, how much your ship is way more, like, capable than the other ship, they'll just start just going to ram you.
yes, yeah.
But yeah, it definitely did degrade into that. But on the higher difficulties, I'd rather just take a naval battle. over that
agreed.
shit. Yeah.
Like, when I was playing on the second or the third difficulty from the top, I would specifically avoid the combat because the opponents with their sword fighting were so good that if I could avoid them and just keep laying grape shot into their ship, murdering their crew, there was a chance that when I finally boarded them, it would just be the captain left alive, and he would just immediately surrender. Because the sword battles got really difficult at the end, and I liked the aspect that they had all these different elements of the game, but it all degraded down to, can you dance and can you fight with a sword? Like, you didn't need anything else but be fast with a sword and jab a lot and be able to do the dancing to get the info you needed. Like,
Have a little dance, play a little sword, just get down to
Pretty
it.
much get down tonight.
yeah, okay. All right.
That was my biggest, I guess, beef with it, because I really liked this game. I played it I think around 2004, probably when it came out, and I loved it. There are some differences between the Xbox version and the PC version.
Yeah, I originally played on the Xbox.
Did you
version
play on
as well.
Xbox this time?
No, I played
Okay,
on
sure.
the PC, yeah.
But the problem I had was the dancing, at least on Xbox. It was easier here on PC, but on Xbox, I could not. Once you got to a certain difficulty level, it was impossible.
It was. It
Oh,
really
yeah, I wouldn't
was.
doubt.
Yeah.
They didn't give you any sort of direction on what button does what and when you were supposed to do things, so you just kind of had to guess.
Yeah.
So there came a certain point where if you wanted to advance the difficulty because you were good at sword fighting, you were good at the turn-by-turn battles, you're good at all the other things in there. If you couldn't get that dancing down, you're stuck and you can't go any further. It's like, really, I bought a game about pirates, and the hardest part about it is ballroom dancing, which is, I think, fucked up.
So I do remember, I don't remember if it was strictly PC, but I did see it on PC, but I don't know if it was also PC and Xbox. Was it only on Xbox for console?
I have that written down. It was
Talk about something else, I'll pull it up.
Xbox, PC, and mobile. I think there was a port for PSP and Wii eventually.
Okay, so I did, it was a long time ago, it was a What Culture, I forget what the category was, and I remember that, it had to be like, games that were, just pretty much messed up on, like, big progressing parts in their story, and one of them was this game where, and I noticed it in the higher ranks, I don't think it happened in the later ones, the last step that you took in the dancing part was always glitched. it always paused.
Yep.
And then you basically had to, if you could see the motion that the person was doing, but you basically just had to hit it
Keep
a bunch
tapping
of
the button.
times so you don't fuck it up. Because especially in the higher levels, one fuck up can make the entire dance
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get one fuck up, it's suddenly. So the idea is, if you didn't play the game, you're dancing with the governor's daughter of all these different cities, and if you impress her with your dancing skill, she'll give you some information. But,
Or an item.
or an item,
yeah.
yes. But if you fuck
or
up
her item.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I didn't play that far.
You can marry one of them.
Oh, okay, true. Well, there you go. That's right. Yeah, because yeah. But if you don't fuck up, she gives you information that you need. So you basically get to a point where the rapscallions,
Baron.
is that the random rogues and bars are no longer giving you the map pieces you need, and you have to impress governor's daughters to get
Yeah.
them.
Mysterious stranger.
Yeah.
The mysterious stranger wins.
I wish he had shown up on more than one occasion and aced some captains in the head with a 44 like Fallout 3, because good lord, the sword fighting got hard at the end, like really difficult.
Is there a mysterious stranger in Fallout 3?
Yeah, if you have a high enough luck, you can get the mysterious stranger perk, and randomly some dude in a trench coat, glasses, and a fedora will show up with a 44 revolver, usually directly next to your opponent, put it up to their head and pull the trigger.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, if you, and the Fallout games are really good about it. If you just roll your luck high enough, it's kind of easy because they just give you so much shit. And one of the things in 3 they did to outline how simple that was in 1 and 2 was the mysterious stranger was a perk you literally got where he would randomly show up and headshot people with a 44 revolver for no reason, which was every time it happened it'd be like this cute little musical scene. It was,
I dig it.
yeah, it was fun. It was a fun little thing. So you were talking about the dancing with zero implication in the where the last action of the dance would glitch.
I mean, there's always implication.
You know, you're there. She's the governor's daughter. You're in a ballroom. She looks around. Everyone else is dancing.
third or fourth episode we've referenced the Dennis method. We should do an episode on the Dennis method.
He's a 5-star man.
Okay.
The golden god.
I'm completely forgetting what the hell I was talking about. So
Oh my God, we did it! Thank God.
I'll vape loudly into the mic right now.
all right, boys. Do you guys remember your first flagship name?
No.
No, I don't think I ever changed the names of the ship.
Yeah.
I never changed mine, but I do remember mine because it was
Oh, that's right.
very risque. Mine was Black Joke, and I was gonna make a black joke, but none of them were gonna be good for this podcast. So
They
I'm
wouldn't be-
gonna refrain from that.
Good for anything.
I appreciate that, Jason. I'm really glad you referenced it out loud before not making it, but appreciate that.
Yeah, it's better than actually making it.
Slightly.
I don't know if the criticism coming from Nate means anything. I really don't.
What are you trying to imply?
That you make terrible jokes all the time.
Oh,
Regardless
yeah.
of race.
yes.
That's right. We're all equally under his target and his crosshairs.
Regime?
I don't know.
Okay, this is getting.
He's
really
becoming some sort of oppressive government before our eyes.
I'm just gonna wave at you guys weirdly.
With your pants off, I don't know what that means.
With my pants off, you know exactly what that means.
Jesus. So,
Jeez, I can fucking
how far did you guys actually get in the game?
I got into so you save your sister first, and then you have to save your uncle. And after getting one, or you kill when you're saving your sister, you're looking for a pirate captain who has
Baron something.
a Baron. He knows where your sister is. So you find him, you track him down, you beat him up, you kill him. You don't kill him, you make him surrender, and he gives you a portion of the map. And then I went back and had to do the same thing again to get another portion. I ended up defeating the same guy 4 times in a row. I thought maybe it'll be different with the uncle, and I defeated the pirate who knew where he was once. He gave me a portion of the map and then was told to go defeat him again. And I said, fuck this, I'm just repeating the same quest 4 times in a row for every family member. And I was going to go back, and I just didn't. Hearts of Iron came out with an expansion, and I played 12 hours and then never played again about 3 weeks ago.
Cool. I hope you guys are playing along with us. Great stuff we got here.
I wasn't.
Jay?
So when I first played, it was the Xbox version. I was obviously got to the part where the dancing got too hard, and I never beat it. This time, I saved all my family, got all the treasure, I beat all the pirates. One little caveat in that was where I went up to the higher levels and went to, it wasn't the Baron, but the main bad guy, whatever the hell that guy's name was.
Yeah.
I had like a whole fleet with me And I finally found him, and I was on like this was the first time I was on the second highest difficulty, and I lost every fucking ship. I got so frustrated I had to reload the last one, because it was like, no, I did everything right. I had all my ships, I had everything going for me, and then I just lost everything. Because the thing is, like, if you have a fleet and you do the whole like pirate battle and he defeats you, you jump off the ship and then you just go to your next one. I was a dumbass and just kept on going like, oh, get him again.
Oh, you kept re-engaging?
I just kept on re-engaging him until I had my last one, and I eventually was like, all right, well, he's smoking and on fire. No matter what, he's still gonna fucking ram me, and I'm still never gonna defeat him in a fucking sword fight. So I just went back to my previous save, and I was on like the lesser level, and I went back and got every single thing that would help me in a sword fight. I got armor, got the pistol. I got the shirt from Seinfeld that I don't want to be a pirate.
The was it excessively frilly shirt?
Puffy
shirt. Yeah, I love that they called it that. Like,
and then finally moved up to difficulty, and then it was still difficult, but I was actually able to defeat him. And then at the end, I didn't do the parts where you could like siege a place. To defeat him for the final time, you had to. And that was kind of fucked because you didn't really explain how to do it.
Yeah, I never figured out how to engage
They didn't explain, like, apparently, like, there's, like, like any type of thing, like Pokemon, fire beats water, or water beats fire, blah, blah, grass beats water. Basically, like, musketeers were good against regular pirates, and then...
It was a little more simple than that. If you just have the numbers, you'll win. If you wanted to siege a town, if you wanted to attack it, you had to... I forget what button it is, but you'd have to... On, like, your travel map when you're sailing, you hit a button...
Space.
Was it space?
Yeah.
And it shoots cannonballs at the city, and eventually they'll start firing back. And then when you go to land at the city, you enter this battle. But it was like, if you just had a couple hundred more guys than the other people, your buccaneers or your range units, your pirates were your regular standard melee units, and then you had, I think, one group of officers that were just a little bit stronger. If you flanked, you got a bonus. If you were higher than them, you got a bonus. There was morale bonuses for when you lose units, you lose morale and all that. They don't explain it because it is pretty simple. If you've ever played any kind of strategy game, it just comes kind of like a second nature. The thing about it is, and this is another problem that the Xbox version had that the PC didn't, is the Xbox version didn't have any controls. It didn't tell you what button did what, so you just had to do trial and error. Where on the PC, they actually showed on the number pad what buttons did what, and there were actions that you could take that I had no idea you could do on Xbox.
I never figured out how to shoot a city, like you're saying in space, but like
you just go near and you hit space and it fires cannonballs.
Like I was going near cities that were shooting at me because I really pissed the Dutch off. Not hard.
It doesn't do anything. Yeah. The only reason to do that was to attack a city that's not already hostile to you.
Okay, all right, true. Well, so you had different types of units. I didn't know that. Like
same here.
I wanted this game so badly to be. Who's the not Norris, the guy, the bad guy in the first Pirates movie, Barbarossa. Yeah, and then Jack Sparrow's
Barbossa.
Barbossa. There you go. Yeah, Barbarossa.
We're not invading the Soviet Union. Damn it.
But I wanted it so badly to be that scene where Johnny Depp goes, you could be Commodore Barbossa, where you could have multiple ships, and then I had taken over the first month of the game, I saw a British warship, and it was like, ship of the line, third class or whatever. I was like, oh shit, I don't care what it kills me, I'm gonna do it. And I took the ship. The British were pissed, whatever. But I had this huge warship. I was like, yes. And then I went to engage another pirate in my mail carrier, and that ship's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna wait in the back. You go figure it out. It's like, oh, you can't. The fact that you have this fleet means nothing in a battle.
It's still one-on-one.
It's completely regarded, and then the battles very rapidly for me degraded into board the ship, start a sword fight. And the one time I tried to just stand off a ship and shell it to death, it was one of the guys who knew where my sister was, and I still had to sword fight him. His ship's entirely empty. Apparently these are ghosts fighting my men around me. Everyone's dead except him. I've shelled his ship to nothing, and then I still have to sword fight.
Well, that's the only time you have to use
and it was really frustrating that it really deeply frustrated me that there was very little aspect of I wanted this game to be Sid Meier's Pirate Admiral. And it was Sid Meier's Pirates. And I wanted it to be much more focused on building up a fleet and enforcing my will in the Caribbean and setting up like a free nation of the Caribbean. I wanted it to be what Tropico could have been that it never turned out to be. I wanted it to be this whole idea of Sid Meier's colonization, where you start a colony, build it up, and then revolt from your mother country. I wanted something like that. This was a good game, but my expectations were very poorly managed going in. You guys tried last month when you were like, "There's dancing." I was like, "There's fucking dancing? What the hell?"
I don't think that we said it that excitedly.
I mean, I took it that excitedly.
I'm sure of it because we both hate that part.
Okay, well, it was hateable. It was definitely hateable. It was 100% hateable.
It got difficult. And the funny thing is, like you said before, it got more difficult, fucked up by how beautiful the woman was.
Yeah, it literally did. The governor's plain daughter is like, this is the easiest dance ever. And it's like, the governor's beautiful daughter, and she's
not
fucking
plain
dubstepping at you.
The governor's rather plain daughter.
Rather plain, yes. We're not making that up. The game would say, as you're talking to the governor of Barbados, like, the governor's rather plain daughter walks up, and you're like, wow, Jesus, game. Like, you're harping on this bitch.
I thought that he was trying to say that it got distracting because whenever you find like a beautiful daughter, her titties were popping out the top of her corset like they're going to explode.
It was what's the Zorro with it been.
So y'all might have noticed a strange, awkward cut there. Let me paint a mental picture. Nate and I are discussing the game, as we tend to do on this podcast.
We said many things like game and discuss.
And Jason melts out of his seat.
Melting is accurate.
Into the floor and then crawls hand over hand towards the mini fridge behind him to grab a beer.
As also happens in every podcast.
This is true.
Unnecessarily crawls. That is the third crawling incident. We could walk normally. There's carpets in here.
So I start waving my arms above my head as I'm still talking, telling him to, no, don't do it. You're going to make noise. And then he dropped a beer. And that's what that...
What was it? It was like multiple things came out of the fridge at you.
No, he picked up a beer and then dropped it.
Yeah, I just dropped a beer.
So that's what that was. Just wanted to give the cut a little bit of context.
So going directly back into what I was saying, increasing the awkwardness, with several minutes having passed, we were speaking on the governor's beautiful daughter, and Daniel had mentioned that her, I believe the quote was, boobies popping up out of her corset. And Titties. I was going to say, like Catherine Zeta-Jones in The Mask of Zorro. Turns out, having looked up some images, she's not popping out of her corset.
Whoa. What images are you looking up on my internet?
Mask of Zorro, Catherine Zeta-Jones images.
Rule 34.
She's not popping up out of her corset. She's just so gorgeous that I can't really think when she's in front of me. I'm going to close this page so I can continue thinking. What were we talking about?
I think that we were talking about titties popping out of corsets?
No, we were talking about Sid Meier's Pirates and how...
titties pop out of corsets in that game.
Motherfucker been phoning it in
so
since
I know
3.
Nate didn't. Did you end up marrying anybody?
Not in this playthrough. So I've played through this game several times. I've never actually beaten it because it gets so repetitive, like Nate was saying, where you just... What really chaps my ass about it, you catch this guy who has taken your family hostage, or at least this one guy knows where your one family member is, and you're like, I have you now, where's my sister? He's like, here's a piece of the map.
Yeah. It's not like you're a pirate where you can torture him or some shit.
You'll let him go, and then it's like, well, go find him again, get another piece of the map, which he has. No, I want the whole map right now, or I'm going to kill you.
The old muskets were 68 caliber. A 68 caliber hot lead blast to the knee would produce many more pieces of map versus you politely allowing him to surrender in a sword duel and accepting the 1/4.
Yeah, and everybody knows that pirates run on chivalry.
Yeah, exactly. That's I already made that joke.
That's what bugged me about it. So after enough repetitiveness of that, and also like to almost the same extent the dancing.
Oh my god!
I usually end up quitting before I finish, which is fine because whatever. Like I'm sure the ending is just like, oh, everything's happy now, you have your family back, whatever. So this time I played through, I was going to play it the way I wanted to, which is one of, I think, the strong points of the game is you don't have to do the main quest.
You can do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah.
You can play this game. You can be a trader and only trade if you want. You can only be a privateer and attack everyone. You can stick with one country if you want to. You can invade cities and try to turn the whole map, French, British, Dutch, whatever. So I just played it, just did what was fun, which was killing all the top pirates, getting all the items, getting the fastest and strongest ships, and just getting as much gold as I possibly could. So I kind of ignored the main quest on this playthrough.
I stopped killing top pirates when I had fleeced...
Became him.
I actually hadn't. I was still number 2, but number 1 had previously been number 8 because I had murdered 1 through 7 and was like, I'm going to stop doing this and start trying to advance the story. But I did like that you could do whatever the hell you wanted. It was the overtures of the game trying to make me dance were a constant annoyance. It's like, no. I just want you to give me money. I don't want to dance with your daughter.
The worst is when you you dance with a girl and she asks you for like a ring or something, or like a ruby,
Oh my God.
and you give it to her and she was like, thanks for this ruby ring, which you paid 9,000 gold for. I might have already told you this, but here's the piece of information I'm giving you. You might have already told me this. Yes, you already told me this. You're giving me an old piece of information. Give me my ring back.
I like here's the $9,000 tiara. Now you're gonna tell me about a man with a $1,000 bounty. It's like, fuck you. No. Fuck you. I'll shell your city to ash. Oh, the game won't let me do that. Okay, I guess I'll walk away angry. Like, that's all I can do.
I think my favorite one was when they asked you for like, oh, I could really use a ring. I could really use a necklace or whatnot. I was like, oh, sucks for you. I'm sorry.
You should probably go talk to somebody else.
He does that. But he's like,
Or
sucks for you.
I ain't Henry Morgan.
When they ask you to dance and you beat a hasty retreat, and he's just like, no.
He's putting his hands up in his face as he walks backwards out of the room.
They're like, ugh.
So one of the things I made sure not to repeat on this playthrough, because I guess it was 2004 when it first came out, and I guess that was when I played it. You know, stupid child. I always kept on dying from disease.
What? Yeah, that's a thing.
No, yeah, because I don't know if you ever noticed. It was like, when you look at your synopsis, you've been on at sea for X amount of time, and then it says how your health is, and then you'll say poor health, blah blah blah. I guess apparently in the Xbox version, I guess I didn't grasp a lot of the
intricacies
of the game.
Say it again.
Intricacies.
No, say it wrong again. It was really funny.
Of the game, because when you went to the mysterious stranger, sometimes you would give you like potions or whatnot to extend your life.
Yeah.
I guess I never did that the first time around, and I would eventually just die before I could complete
Before
anything.
your time.
From what I was reading, if you gathered enough of the random item shit, you could live to be like 150 years old.
Damn.
I never tried that because I only played for I think 8 years.
I got pretty far. I because there was this one period where it was dumb luck that I got like 3 pirates in the row, happened to be like notorious pirates, happened to be near me, and I got them and I took all their booty. Haha. Got the Baron, and then got the Baron, and then got the main dude, and then found like an Incan treasure, and then a couple of other people's treasures. I got like 40,000 gold in one like gameplay, and I think I was on like almost like 5 years at sea. And I've never been that long with my crew being okay.
That must have been on a lower difficulty.
It wasn't. It was on this. It was on the second. Like I said, it was definitely pure luck because I just so happened to be at this part where everybody just happened to be there.
Well, I mean, I've done shit like that before where like, I'm making money hand over fist and my crew is like mutinous. I'm like, you guys, we just made like 5,000 gold pieces each. No, we want to go home. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, so by that time I wasn't on Rogue. I was on the step behind that, but that was when, before I was on the step behind that, I got every item to make sure my crew was okay for the longest part.
Right.
So I think that just factored in there.
From what I had read online, and it worked out for me. Now, granted, I only played 8 years game time, about 10 hours actual time. If you have 1,000 gold pieces per crew member, they will not mutiny, and they never mutiny on me. Now, granted, I did at one point have to get up to 156,000 gold and just sit on it and not spend it. And granted, the gold only has so much versatility in the first place. There's only so many ship upgrades.
And also, it depends on the difficulty because it also depends on how much your cut is.
Oh, and that's not for cutting it up. But if you have 100 crew members, if you have 100,000 gold, from what I was reading online and listening to YouTubers, was basically that they would not mutiny. They would be unhappy as hell and grumbling, but there wouldn't be a mutiny. I did have a mutiny in my first playthrough of I played for like 40 minutes and I very rapidly got a mutiny because I was trying to build the biggest crew and the biggest fleet possible, thinking that multiple ships could engage in combat. But then
not making any money?
No, I was just literally capturing the ships I wanted because I was trying to build a big fleet. apparently they are not as loyal as the British Navy. Her Majesty's service.
Imagine that.
Well, because we were talking about this before, you didn't realize that it like divvied up the crew that you already had to those ships.
I accidentally in that playthrough was like, divvy the share. I was like, yeah, my people need some money. Let me divvy it up. I gave up. Oh, I get one ship back. Oh, like that's why I restarted. I was like,
so pissed.
Yeah.
I lost one of my main like flagships because I went to like divvy up the booty and I forgot that you only get to keep one ship and you
Yeah.
had to declare.
I don't know, man. Like, I see that you guys played with like a whole fleet. I always had 2 ships, maybe 3. My main flagship that I kept, that was my battleship. I would have a very small ship that if I was fighting someone who was way faster than me that I needed to use to catch just a sword fight, and then I'd have like a treasure galleon just for storage.
yeah.
I never kept more than one ship that was like upgraded with cannons and stuff like that.
What was your? So I kept not the first pirate, the second pirate. I killed him twice. The second guy who knows where your uncle is or whatever, the second family member is.
Montalban or something like that.
I kept 2 of his ships because they were fully upgraded war galleys. But you were talking about repeatedly. We had talked about this about what ship was best, and I had a war canoe. I lost the war canoe. The war canoe is the fastest ship. It's amazing. So if you're guaranteed that you can beat the sword fights, the war canoe is the best because you just avoid all the fire, dive right in. And I forgot that I had captured 3 or 4 ships, so my crew divvied up over 3 or 4 ships. So I ended up going into battle with 23 crew on my flagship, this war canoe, against like 200. And I was winning the sword fight. I was about to coup de grace the motherfucker. All my crew died. So you just immediately surrender.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've
that
never
happened
had
to me
that happen
4 or
before.
5 times where all my crew, because I would, as I was going around, I would capture ships that I either wanted, like if I was at war with somebody, to basically try and buff my rank with whoever I'm trying to get my rank with. So the English are at war with the Dutch. Never mind that I work for the Spanish. I'll capture a bunch of Dutch ships so the English will like me more. I forgot that I had picked up 4 ships. I was planning to sell them at the shipwright because I never sunk a ship because they're worth about 1,000 gold each. And then my crew would shrink down because it's divvying up over the ships. You go into battle with only the crew on your ship. I think I lost 5 sword fights. That I was winning the sword fights, but I lost because my crew were all murdered.
So I fucked up when I was younger and I was first playing this, and I would go to divvy things up, and I was playing on the lower difficulties, and you only get like a couple % take, and I was like, I had like 50,000 gold, I'm only getting like 1,000, like this is bullshit. So I had this idea, I was like, perfect. So what I'll do is, right before I'm ready to divvy up my money, I'll attack some random town that I know I'm going to lose, so that, 200 of my crew is gone, and there's only 4 of us left. Let's divvy it up. No. It still divvies up for every crew member you've used on that time.
What are you paying their widows?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why they have the gold earrings to pay for their death.
The Pirates Union is very well known for supporting widows and bastard children. Everybody knows that shit. Seriously, go to Somalia. They know that shit like lock solid.
Listen,
I mean,
the
you
money
have to pay for those bastards in a basket.
Yeah.
The money was going somewhere, and it wasn't to me.
Noah, a bastard in a basket.
That was not Noah. That was Moses.
No. He's talking about There Will Be Blood. The
I wasn't,
movie.
but yes, thank you for getting my back.
Wait, what?
I don't know either, but he got my back. Thank you.
That's.
I've never seen the movie.
I know it involves blowing into the receiver of a 45 enough to shoot a dog.
But anyways, I remember I was asking a long time ago.
His fucking face.
I am so fucking lost.
That's why you ignore. Why I was asking you about marrying, because I was going through my playthrough and I was getting a rapport with a woman from San Juan, and I was like, oh damn, I'm actually gonna make my own family.
Keeping that blood
because
pure.
exactly my whole entire family is from, well, not from San Juan, but my whole entire family is from Puerto Rico. Half of my family is from San Juan, the other half is from
Who knows?
Is that a city or you don't know?
But then,
si, play.
Oh yes, yeah.
and I was right there. She wanted me to give her that like diamond
She wanted
necklace.
to give you something.
Yeah, I don't know if you thought that's
no, there you go. She wanted me to give her some
Babies.
pearls.
Let's just say babies.
Ooh.
Okay. Officially,
Sorry,
our last
moms.
female
Deep
user
cut.
has logged off. User, listener, whatever.
But then I met the big-breasted woman from Santo Domingo, and I said, "Fuck that!" And I ended up marrying her. Which, whatever. That's Cuba. Where's Santo Domingo?
Santo Domingo? I have no idea where that is.
Yeah, that's probably 4 of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So I was constantly sailing around, dancing with governors' daughters, trying to basically learn the dancing mechanic because I knew that the governor's
that's what you were
daughter
trying to
in Caracas is in Venezuela. Yeah,
Caracas, Venezuela.
yeah. Is Caracas coastal, or am I just?
I don't
know.
I hope you're wearing a condom, you filthy fuck. You're going from port to port.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on a second. Is it coastal? Were you able to sail to it?
I don't remember if it was Caracas or if I'm just throwing Caracas in there because it's a city.
No,
in Venezuela.
Caracas was there.
Yeah. Okay.
Then
Caracas
it's
was there,
coastal.
Yeah.
All right, but we got to get back to nationality choice and year choice because you guys both unintentionally really you didn't hurt my feelings, but you made me feel like a filthy casual at some point during the month when we were talking.
I
about
love
the game.
that podcast.
Yes. Me too.
Truth.
But so I meant like Perry, this you filthy casual, but also that podcast. Go check it out. But so I was sailing around and you end up dance with the governor's rather plain daughter, the governor's beautiful daughter, and I was just forcing myself to dance because I realized that you had to dance to get the information you needed to figure out where the pirates were.
Hey, no, Footloose.
Yeah, everybody cut Footloose. But so I was just hitting port to port, dancing with every governor's daughter, and I don't know if there's an RNG number system or what's happening, but I swear to God, every Colombian port, the governor had a beautiful daughter, and like it ended up when I was checking the
Shakira.
One of the things in the score was romance, your romance score, and it was rated based on the beauty level of the governor's daughter you danced with, and
Like
it was
real life.
Oh my God! There's a small. It's right on the Venezuelan-Colombian border. It's a small inlet of water, and there's 3 or 4 cities around it. But it was like top romance score. It was somebody I had danced with once, but it just happened to be the only beautiful daughter I had danced with. I was like, so I just kept going back there and dancing with her over and over. But it's just ridiculous, like the idea that the beauty score of the daughter makes the dance harder or lower, and so. If it's a beautiful daughter, she's automatically a 4 difficulty. So if you can dance successfully with her, suddenly she's your top romance score. I was like, great. Now I have to sail back to Colombia every time I want to.
So I don't know if it was that, whether it's what you said, where like all the Spanish,
everything.
No,
was
not
Spanish,
not all of them, because I remember a bunch of plain daughters.
There were a bunch of plain daughters in Cuba.
I'm sorry, rather plain daughters.
Rather plain.
But I did notice, because you mentioned it as well until I actually went to that difficulty, that the higher difficulty, the more beautiful daughters you got.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. So during my literally hitting every city I bumped
fucking
into,
pimp tour, gigolo
my
cruise
for dancing for no money. But as I was literally trying to learn the dancing, because they have hand gestures that indicate where they're going during the dance, so you know where to follow. And the more plain daughters literally point. They're like, "I'm going right. Please go right with me." And they do this number while they're dancing. You can't see me, but I'm pointing very.
I can see you
gesticulatively with my index finger. The more beautiful daughters.
What was that?
Testicularly.
Gesticulate. Gesticulate.
Testiculate.
You could get a fucking dictionary. Yeah, well, nobody likes it. But the more beautiful daughters just kind of like wave their arm wildly in one direction. You have to figure out, is she turning or shifting or whatever? And like the first time I bumped into a beautiful daughter, I was like, oh my God, she's not pointing. And I literally just spent the entire 2-minute dance stumbling in every direction like, fuck.
So I did notice it was actually, at least with the beautiful daughters, on the higher difficulty. So, they did their gestures faster.
Yes.
Sorry, there we go.
Oh, they gesticulate faster. Sorry, is that what you're pointing at me? Sorry, you just pointed at me like expecting me to say something.
So when you did it perfectly, they did a twirl, which honestly kind of made it even harder because depending on because it made it harder for the next.
They would gesture to the right and then do a twirl to the left.
So I don't know if you noticed. I apparently not, because you didn't say it, but it was more of their head bob. When they were gesturing, it was their head bob that made that was indicating when you were supposed to actually hit it.
The forward.
So she'll like as a split second put the hand where you're supposed to go, and then bam, head bob, and then that's when you're supposed to hit it.
Because you did it at the harder difficulties, it shrank your time zone of the thing that got me constantly was left and right, and then there's shifting, so like diagonally moving left and right, and whenever she was moving diagonally, it was always towards you because you were twisting as a couple. You were shifting 90 degrees on the dance floor to rotate, and so it was like a direct point to the right, saying I'm going to the right, a point diagonally across you to say I'm shifting, but then the forward and back motion, where backwards was hands flat, like literally just outstretched, and then going forward, meaning she was dancing towards you, was kind of a pushing gesture,
push, yeah.
which was a perfect gesture. But every time I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm focusing so much on dancing with a friggin' animated object that she's literally telling me you're being weird and creepy. And then I realized, no, she's dancing towards me, and I would stumble backwards. Like that dancing was so. I won't say it broke the game. It added a layer of complexity, a depth to the game, but it was so antithetical to a game called Pirates, and it makes sense with. I believe it was Henry Morgan was the pirate that received.
I don't know why you're pointing at me. I have no
pardon,
fucking
yeah,
idea.
because you look like Henry Morgan. But there was a pirate that received pardon and lived in South Carolina for a time. South Carolina basically gave an amnesty to pirates, and Henry Morgan, I want to say, was a very famous pirate who, I think it was him. Don't fucking quote me on that shit.
Nate Lamb says it was Henry Morgan. You can quote him on that.
Don't
shit.
quote me, Frodo.
And the idea was if he showed up, promised not to practice piracy anymore, and gave like half of his personal wealth to the town, they would give him a very large manor with a number of slaves, basically. And they did. And then he like married the governor's daughter. And the idea was, please stop the piracy. We want to live on trade. And now we have a pirate here. So if anyone tries to raid our town, we have someone who can act as a military commander. And he sat there for like 11 months, like, yeah, and then got bored and went back to it. And which was very reflected in the game.
Dude.
But I believe that actually happened, where they would offer amnesty, trying to get these pirates to come in from the cold and say, stop raiding
I don't know,
our
but
shit.
that just reminds me of like a great show that I've talked to Dan about it before, and I think I probably talked to you about
called Vikings, right?
Black Sails. Well, that too, but Black Sails, and it ended. It was supposed to be like it's. You know, I'm sure the book Treasure Island / the movies / a bunch of shit that's been adapted to Treasure Island was supposed to be a prequel to that. It was so good. Really good. And oddly enough, executive producer Michael Bay, which all he had to do was the explosions.
Michael Bay,
but everything.
is the first person to cast 2 black male leads in a movie. As much as I love this shit on him,
What movie?
Bad Boys. That was
Wait, that was my. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Holy
as
shit.
much as I love the shit on him, he does have some heritage of being a decent director in the film industry.
Let's stop before the women part.
Decent human being.
Okay, yeah, well, in the early 90s.
Megan Fox would disagree.
Yes.
Decent human being and decent director are two completely different things.
Yes, and Megan Fox.
And I
disagrees
also
on
wouldn't
which
say
one.
he's a decent director.
Woody Allen.
well, fucking shit.
Oh, God. You know what we haven't referenced at all?
Germans.
The Germans.
Wow. I was going to say the virus of COVID-19, but the germ.
I think
meant-
we've had
I
enough
was going
of
to
that.
leave that at
Me
the
too.
end. I have an
Yeah,
actual.
all right,
Like,
cool.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, well, sneak preview. There we go. You said something earlier about our nation choices. What were you talking about?
So I had this grand idea. So as many of you may or may not know, Florida used to be a Spanish holding, and I've always taken some pride in that.
Why?
Why would you take pride?
Yeah,
Because I'm from Florida, and it used to be a Spanish holding, and it separates us from
but
the
you're
US.
not Spanish.
I understand that, and you both have Mexican and Puerto Rican heritage and Puerto Rican heritage on your side. To I don't have that, but I've always taken some pride in like fucking St. Augustine and the fact that Tampa used to be a Spanish city, and like that it's something that adds some flavor of differentiation from
To
my
you.
very boring, very white Canadian and Ohio farming roots. Okay, listen, when you're as bland as vanilla paste, you take pride in little shit. Okay, fuck off, you stupid.
Gotta put a little
Bastards.
little pepper in there.
Yeah. The best I have with is Irish in the corned beef, and the pepper dilutes in the boil. But so I've always taken pride in that. So I figured I'd play as Spain, and I wanted to play as Spain in the 1700s when the empire started to fall. And my thought was, I'm going to play as Spain, and I'm going to take over all these English and French and Dutch ports, and I'm going to make Spain the power in the Caribbean. Never mind that the Spanish Empire at the time was falling, doing its air colonial policy and everything else. Fuck that shit. Then the historical conversation we could have there. And so I was so excited, like, I'm going to prevent, and then you could start early. I could start in 1640. I was like, that's perfect. I can stop the Spanish Empire from falling. I can set up a Spanish Caribbean empire that will sustain the Spanish Empire. And I told you guys both that, like, super excited with that bullshit in the back of my mind. And like, I think I told you first, Daniel, and you were like, oh yeah, it's so much easier because there's so many bases. And I was like, I'm not playing it easy. No, I'm trying to save the empire. Oh no. And then like, so later that day I went up to you, Jason, this is at work. We all work together. And I was like, Yeah, I played a Spanish, and you said the exact same thing. Like, oh yeah, it's easier because there's so many bases. It's like, fuck, I'm not trying to play it on easy, you motherfuckers. I'm trying to save the Spanish Empire.
No, I said the opposite.
Your new empire.
At least the way I was playing, it was harder because most of the places were Spanish, so I couldn't attack them.
exactly. And there were fewer opposing ships. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that when you told me that, I said it's harder because there's less places to attack.
you may have said that, but I stopped listening when you weren't talking white enough.
I thought you were to say I stopped listening when you started talking, which would make more sense. I played as English. What did you play as, Jay?
Spanish.
Cheetah.
I wasn't cheating.
I know.
It was hard. It would have been because that's why I had a bunch of mutinies on my hands because all the ports and most of the ships that were going by were Spanish.
Yeah.
The only time I actually attacked a Spanish ship was when they were a treasure galleon.
Yep.
Also, to your point of the best ship, I don't know. I never actually looked up what the best ship was.
What was your favorite? What was your favorite?
So I ran with a flag galleon for most of my gameplay. Oddly enough, it wasn't the Black Joke. I got rid of the Black Joke, and then it was the Mercedes, which
Mercedes.
In real life, I actually drive a Mercedes, which is my own age too, 1992.
Yeah, that's a pretty
I was about to say we have to specify what type of Mercedes.
It's
We're
a
not rolling
Mercedes.
in
We don't
dough
need to
over
specify. What was
190E.
What was your favorite ship?
I'm not done.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
So
No!
no.
We've moved
So
on.
yeah, I ran with the flag galleon, but at the end, I went with the fast galleon. Because it was pretty much the best of both worlds. I could catch up with any ship depending on... So when you're talking about like the complaint about when you're going to engage a ship and the wind will change...
Yeah.
I never got that, but what you told me was a great thing was before you engage the ship, just try to match your positioning with how the wind is, because it carries over when you actually enter the battle. But the fast galleon, I think. Oh man, I can't remember the name of it. I can't remember the name of it. I think it wasn't the Mercedes. The Mercedes was the flat. God damn it. Flag galleon.
What you guys aren't seeing is how much his nipples are going up and down as he says the G in flag.
He's the only one who's looking at that.
I wasn't looking
Now
at
I'm
that.
looking.
They moved a full 2 inches. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Flag galleon.
Just wait till we start recording these on video. It's gonna be.
The YouTube is set up going into summer. That's great.
It's gonna be the end of our podcast.
Yeah.
Hot in these garages.
Command centers.
So I used the flag galleon as well because I got that pretty early on in the game, and it is a really good ship. I didn't have problems really catching up with people because I would make sure I was in the right side of the wind before we started. But I looked it up in they have a little in Civilization of the Civilopedia. They had a Piratepedia,
Yep.
which I never looked at when I was playing as a kid. I read almost the entire thing this time because it has a lot of cool historical stuff in there. Like all the ships have real stats and
Oh really? Yeah, I didn't look that up this time.
But according to that resource, the best possible ship as far as number of cannons and speed and everything put together would be the Man of War, which I never saw.
I never saw that either.
It's a heavy frigate, right?
I don't know. I just know that it was saying that that's the quote-unquote best ship, and they're pretty rare. And if you were to take one, immediately the country that you took it from just sends pirate hunters after you, and they'll attack you on sight.
That has to be on Rogue. I never saw a Man of War.
Man of War, I believe, historically was a frigate, so it's just beneath a ship of the line.
What? No, I thought a Man of War was the biggest ship of all.
No, ships of the line are, but ships of the line are huge, cumbersome vessels. The idea is they're meant to be surrounded. It's like an aircraft carrier today. You would not send an aircraft carrier alone to the Persian Gulf. You would send it with cruisers and destroyers to support it. They are the absolute paramounts of moving the ability to create war to another place, but they're slow. They're massive. Men of War they're meant for war because they're heavy frigates.
You don't say.
But they're heavy frigates. The idea is they're fast enough to pursue escaping merchant shipping. They're fast enough to do whatever is needed, but they're small enough to be fast. They have to be small, but they're still big enough and powerful enough that during a heavy battle, they can have some impact, whereas a smaller frigate or a sloop would not, whereas a ship of the line would be too slow to do anything. I went with the Royal Sloop. I was looking for a...
I never saw a Royal Sloop either.
I only saw one.
did.
But what was the ship you guys were just talking about? The ship you both agreed on? The
Flag galleon.
Flag galleon. You had told me repeatedly, Daniel, that a flag galleon was awesome. I found a war galleon, and I found a
I had a war
galleon, and I found
galleon.
a fast galleon, and I played with all of them. but they were also large that I couldn't turn away from fire. With the Royal Sloop, it was only 22 guns, so I had 11 on each side, but it was small enough. It was huge sails, but it was small enough that I could turn out of the way of incoming fire and get behind the enemy ship and throw grape shot up its posterior.
But
Yeah. And the few ships that I fought in the Royal Galleon, in the Royal Sloop that were outmatching me in maneuverability, I just switched to chain shot and blow their sails off because I had enough guns to overpower the smaller ships and I had enough speed to outmaneuver the bigger ships.
Okay, yeah.
But I never found a flag galleon. I was looking for one specifically because
Really?
Daniel had told me. Yeah, I
there
never found
were
one.
at least when I got into, I guess, Swashbuckler, which is the second highest difficulty. I think it was called Swashbuckler. Anyways,
That's where I stopped. I think.
that's where I started seeing a lot of them.
Yeah.
I still never saw a Man of War. I only tried to play on Rogue, which is the highest difficulty, for about an hour and got destroyed. All my ships gone, and I said no.
Because they
it's fun.
constantly send out pirate hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a Sid Meiers game. That's one thing that I want to throw some commentary at. It was Sid Meiers and his influence on gaming was always the difficulty curve wasn't easy, medium, hard. It's you're a joke and you've never played a computer game to you're psychotic and I'm going to make you hurt. And there's like 12 difficulty levels, whether there's 6 in this game, where realistically easy is difficulty 2 or 3 and hard is difficulty 4 or 5. And difficulty 1 is I don't actually want any challenge, and difficulty 6 is I'm a sadist, cut me. Like, and it's very
Daddy.
in keeping with Sid Meier's games. What's the highest difficulty on Civilization called? I don't know if in the newer ones.
I don't know.
In the old one it was called Sid.
No, not in the new ones.
Yeah, in
but,
3
yeah.
it was Sid, like Sid or Sid Meier's was difficulty 7, which was
Right.
the top one, and the idea was I created this game and you better be as good as fucking me to
That's
play
really
at
funny
this level.
because in Dune 2016, the difficulties is hurt me some, and then hurt me plenty. and then it was Nightmare, and then I think Ultra Nightmare.
I really, really wish the top difficulty was Hurt Me Baby one more time. And that's only because we were playing Britney Spears at work today.
We were? I played the Spice Girls.
Static Spice Girls, yeah, that's what it was.
Static Spice Girls?
Yeah, it's like the metal version of the Spice
like
Girls.
Static X.
Oh,
Okay.
was
yeah.
it Toxicity?
No, it
What?
was the Spice Girls.
There's
I
a metal version of Toxicity. Sorry, that's
No,
Britney Spears.
It was literally just.
the Spice Girls.
Just the
For
Spice
about
Girls.
30 seconds, I just happened to confuse
I had my headphones
all
on
music.
the time.
yeah.
Well, you wore that purple shirt today, so you're acting.
It's
a little
purple
bit
now. This
ahead.
morning you said it was pink. I'm
Well-
glad you finally turned over to realizing what colors
I'm
are.
sorry, I
That
don't.
is not purple. That's pink.
This is a light lavender, motherfucker.
Lavender. Sorry. There you go.
Yeah,
Lavender.
which is not
Yeah.
a pink.
I have to leave now.
I like that shirt.
I do too. I can see
It
how
goes
much you
well
like it with your
my
erection.
brown skin.
Are you in underpants now?
No.
Okay. All right. Those are basketball shorts.
All right, see if you guys are quite done looking at each other's penises.
No,
I would-
but we can hiatus for the end of this episode.
It'd be much appreciated.
Wearing very shorts.
If you say much opinionated, I'll be down.
Peen.
No. Much opinionated.
Pianist.
What? Sorry, I'm just laughing at y'all's
still
faces.
waiting on the much opinionated.
All right, much opinionated. Yes. Are you happy now?
A little bit.
Why don't you tell me what were your favorite and least favorite parts of this game, Nate?
All right, so god damn. There was the potential is my most favorite. This game to me, having never played it, I wanted this to be what Tropico wasn't, and what Tropico 2 Pirates Cove really almost touched. And like Tropico 2 Pirates Cove, you play the governor of a pirate haven, which there are in this
Really?
game. Yes, yeah, that's why I keep plugging Tropico 2 in our short list. Is that Tropico 2, in my opinion, is the best one because you are the governor of a pirate haven, and I wanted this to be more pirate captain, and I really wanted pirate admiral, and I
I think you
didn't.
more wanted Ahoy, but pirates.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, Hoy's way too in depth. I wanted something lighter.
Just for reference's sake, when we say Hoy, we're talking about Hearts
Hearts of Iron, HOI, Hoy.
Okay.
What is that?
Yeah, it's the game I've been pouring my life into for coming up on 12
What
years
was the
now.
hours?
Shit, and in the new Hoy, I don't even remember. Let me pull it up. But my favorite 1250. My favorite part of this game,
Damn.
and that's just in 4. I
Really?
put more into 3. I had almost 2,000 hours in 3 back in the day.
That compared to both of us, what was our Rocket League hours?
almost 1,200, I think. Yeah.
Mine was
Yeah.
1068.
Yeah, well, 1066 would be better. Norman Conquest, motherfucker. But
Wow. Good. Taking it way
there's
back.
a historical joke nobody will get. My favorite part of this game was definitely the sailing, the aspect of the wind, having to gauge the wind, and then the ship combat. But in the times when in my royal sloop, outsailing these heavier ships of the bosses, in effect, the pirates who knew where your family was, you could outsail them, but they were diving at you. They weren't trying to engage you, even though they had a heavier 80 gun ship and you had a 20 gun ship. They were diving at you because the game was trying to bring that sword fight up, and that sword fight was, I won't say broken, but it was the 80s fighting games where you turn the difficulty up and it just makes the opponent faster and the opponent cheats on blocks. And
Hadouken, 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 Hadouken.
Exactly. And that's what they would do, where it's like, we're both jabbing, but because you're a difficult pirate and I'm on a high difficulty, suddenly my jab is irrelevant and you just stab me. It's like, well, that's a Sid Meier's game. The AI just outright cheats on the harder difficulties.
Yep.
Fucking deal with it. It's Mortal Kombat.
Was
it's
it a
Street
Gandhi
Fighter.
scenario?
No, that was a glitch they kept in the game.
There were no nukes.
Yeah. But and what I wanted was the aspect of you've got a disloyal navy that you have to control, and I never got that. So my least favorite part was my expectations. Honestly, my expectations were so far afield from what this game was that I started within the first 3 hours. There was no way I was going to be satisfied with this game. And I still found little bits of it that were so good that they made me love it. The sailing was the big part. I loved the aspect of trying to manage the international diplomacy. And I loved, honestly, I kind of liked the dancing. It was a real fucking challenge. I didn't like that I had to do it in a game that was about pirates. I just Obama thumbed. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
But like, I didn't like it. But I liked how much I worked at it and how much I improved on it. It was not what I wanted. I wasn't playing Sid Meier's Dancing with the Governor's Daughter Stars.
Yar, dancing with the pirates.
Yar, dancing with the plain daughters.
Rather plain daughters.
But it was not at all fuck you. It was not at all what I expected. I liked a lot of it. I hated a lot of it. I wouldn't play it more if we weren't playing it for the podcast. So my most favorite was what it could have been. My least favorite was what it wasn't, which is very non-committal.
It makes sense. You wanted it to be a game that it was not.
Yeah.
Wanted it to
I'm
be a
Mitch
different...
McCalling at this game hard.
You wanted it to be another game that you could easily go and play.
Yeah, which they don't exist. There's no game that exists.
Tropico 2
does not give you pirate captain or commodore.
Okay,
you're
saying
a governor. You're a governor, and I wanted the line between governor and between captain. Obama thumb, sir. Yes, you're shaking it at me.
I will totally agree with that. There was so much potential that could have happened with this game. Man, the thing is, like, I would never have thought of it without this podcast, without you saying that. Where I never thought of like a Ahoy version, or not even just Ahoy, or just a strategic version.
A very strategic, tactical
StarCraft, any of those type of
but
games.
not even RTS, but like a where you have to delegate captains to individual ships. And it was an old game. They couldn't have had they done that, nobody would have understood. What they did was in time,
yeah. And all they did was like add that to the dancing difficulties and the sword fighting.
The goddamn dancing.
Somebody spent a lot of time on that. And you were shitting on their work.
I spent like 3.5 hours trying to learn to dance in this fucking...
You had to.
I only played 12 hours. A quarter of my time was spent learning to dance.
Honestly, it's funny that you say that. All right, so I'll go to... I hit the mic stand with my thumb
repeatedly.
Sorry, I'm very fault at that.
Very fault?
I am very fault.
Okay, that was not him. Something just...
Daniel's fiance is home.
No, she's not.
That's not her.
That was her.
No, it's not.
She literally just got home. I heard Lucy.
Oh, shit.
Lucy was hiding under your bed earlier. I couldn't get her to come out to go pee. Lucy's his dog, by the way.
Yeah,
very tiny.
Not like a weird roommate I have. That's
she hides under bed.
Lucifer is home. Yes.
The dog is home.
Yeah, so I completely agree with you now. Honestly, I wouldn't have without actually you putting your opinion into this game. That would have been a great aspect. I was never pissed about having this grand fleet and not being able to, because as a kid, I had this grand fleet and it didn't. I guess it just didn't register that I had to pick only one ship to go into this fight, because I didn't have it at that higher levels. Where at the higher levels, you were actually battling more than one ship.
Yeah. The enemy got 2 ships. Why the fuck don't I get my 8-ship fleet?
You have your whole fucking fleet.
Yeah. Everybody hang back. I'm going to fight this escort and this transport ship at once. Yeah.
So that would go to my worst about this game. My favorite was just the very nuance, just the intricate details about, all right, depending on the year that you're at, this port will change
Holding,
change territories. It'll be Dutch, it'll be Spanish, blah blah, historically accurate. But also you can fuck with that historical accuracy, which I guess would go towards the Ahoy aspect. Where I'm not into those type of games, but I am into like when you guys talk about it, where you can actually like kind of fuck with history.
Yeah.
Win the Spanish War as the anarcho-republicans is like, what? Like, who the fuck?
Yeah.
Why not? It's
Like
enjoyable.
I never I kind of like now, and you know, I this is the time I actually did my own thing with I aligned myself with the Spanish. I didn't attack any Spanish unless it was a treasure. They would be pissed. It was like, oh, you go to the governor. And
we saw that you literally murdered one of our captains. We are mildly displeased with this.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, it wasn't even that. Like, one thing that really pissed me off, because I think the Baron that is hiding your family is, I think no matter what, is aligned with the Spanish. So whenever you actually either I guess it's only when you capture a ship. If you sink it, it doesn't matter. No. It'd have to be when you sink it. But if you sink or capture his ship, when you go to a governor and be like, you helped escort a governor to this country, you helped liberate another place. Oh, but you took over a Spanish galleon. You'll have repercussions of that. And then nothing happened.
Yeah, there's zero.
Here's my daughter.
I did love. I forgot about that aspect, and I love. It's like, hey, will you escort this transport ship? It's carrying the new governor to the city, and you're like, yeah, sure, why not? And then you realize how far the city is, and you're like, fuck this. And you sail the hell off.
Literally every time I was like, nah, fuck that. They don't need a fucking
I did it
escort.
repeatedly, and once 4 Dutch warships came at me, I was like, yeah, well, that governor's fucking dead, and just sailed the fuck away. And next time I was in a Spanish port, it's like, we see that the governor didn't arrive. We're displeased. I was like, yeah, he died. I could have stopped it, but I didn't.
But yeah, that was one of, again, I hated that part, but then it was also really, really good that, I don't know if it's necessarily realism, but it was more just like a challenge that you never actually got in any other game.
Yeah, agreed.
Because it was like, you know what? Oh man, I didn't write this on my notes, but it was like, and I think you'll relate to it, Pikmin.
Oh, yeah.
God, Pikmin.
When you have that timer of you have this certain amount of days to do something, and it was so fucking stressful.
That's I like Pikmin. I used to play it when I was a kid, but that was one of the things where it's a core part of the game, but I wish it wasn't there because it's too stressful.
Speaking of which, not related to Pikmin, I have a game to add to the short list starring a certain Captain Olimar. It's not Pikmin though.
Okay, well that's good. I'm excited to hear
Smash
about
Brothers?
this new game.
It's definitely Pikmin. I forgot Pikmin existed. You just rehashed a crack.
I don't know if it's cross.
It's only on GameCube as far as I know.
I'll buy a GameCube.
I hope they redo it for Switch. I at least have a Switch.
So my favorite part of Pirates was
You must mean Sid Meier's Pirates.
Sid Meier's Pirates with an exclamation point.
Exclamation point.
Was the open worldedness of it. Like I was saying earlier, you can do whatever you want. If you just wanted to be some sort of cargo hauler, you could do it that way. You could probably play this game
Sid Meier's Merchant Marine.
fairly pacifistic if you really wanted to. I don't know why you would. But that was fun. You guys complained so much about the sword fighting. I think y'all just both suck.
Oh no, I was terrible at it.
I was really good at it. So I was just...
No, I fucked.
I
watched several walkthroughs. It just bothered me that you lost the cannon fights to go fight a sword fight.
I also never lost cannon fights. I lost once.
Oh, I didn't lose any of them, but they would charge me and then force a sword fight, which was just aggravating. I wanted to have a naval battle.
Well, you go away from them. And you shoot at them and get their sails out.
I did that.
Yeah. You were really bad at it.
No, I was good at that too until I lost my royal sloop and I was left in a goddamn war galleon.
You have to be a pirate. You have to be adaptable. You have to grow as a scallywag.
Yar har twiddly dee.
Being a pirate is all right. You got to do it. The sword fighting I thought was a lot of fun, especially since when I played it on Xbox, the only move I knew how to do was jab.
That's the only move you need to do ever.
Nah, because if you
In
use
the higher difficulties, no.
if you use the other ones, it'll knock them back 3 places or
Yes.
2 places at once. So once you
If you just outspeed them,
yeah, but the higher levels you can outspeed them.
they're
So you
faster.
have to
Yeah, they're faster than you.
once you learn how to parry and slash and all those other things, that's when it gets easy. Because I tried to just thrust when I played on Xbox. That was the only thing I knew how to do.
Nickname in high school, just thrust the Xbox.
There you go. And I
14
couldn't
was just thrusting.
I couldn't beat the game because of that. Since they gave me the controls overlay on PC, I knew what buttons did what, and I just played around with the slash and all that. Then I was able to play on those higher levels. So I was able to.
The parry definitely.
Oh yeah,
things.
yeah. Once
Which,
you know
when
how to do it, like
on
it's
lower
easier.
difficulties, yeah, just thrust, and then afterwards it was watch them and like but it really came down to 4 and 5, which was thrust and parry, because if on the higher difficulties when they're faster, you can't out thrust them, and it doesn't do the 3 sword clash of thrust to thrust. Nobody's giggling about that. Okay, cool. I was on the verge of it. I'm glad you guys were smirking. But you had to parry. But I don't know how many times I clicked parry thinking they were about to thrust, and they were just doing this number before they reared back to slash.
I will say there was a way to get away with it, because I didn't change my strategy up from quick thrusting. If you had the armor,
Yeah.
and if you're still slow, because you can hear it, they'll hit your armor, and you can still stab them.
Yep. That's why you have to get all the items you can. The items were crazy.
Yeah, they
the
were-
brace
they-
of pistols was great too. You just start off the battle already ahead.
The one time I turned down a bounty, like, hang on. I know you could turn me in for my $1,000 bounty, or I could give you a brace of pistols. I was like, so
Yep.
let's talk, because
Yeah.
you're going to go free, and I'm going to shoot this motherfucker.
Yeah, that was one thing he told Daniel.
Ah.
Damn it. That's way better than just saying Dan.
Told me was you don't need the money, just give whatever the hell he's gonna give you.
Yeah.
Well, it
or
depended.
get whatever he's
When
gonna
he was
give you.
offering me a ruby ring, I was like, bitch, you going to jail. Give me something of value. But if we had a brace of pistols or a silk shirt, it's like, yeah, okay, you can go free.
Exactly.
I want to be a pirate.
My least favorite was the dancing. Obviously, I think we were all on that.
No,
except for maybe Nate.
I enjoy. Like once I learned it, it was like it was a genuine challenge. It's not a challenge I enjoyed. It was like eating escargot.
Really? I love escargot.
You guys are both disgusting.
only ever had it once, so I don't know.
But yeah,
Obviously, also it's escargot.
But forgive me. You should tell me about that in your FOIA.
Oh, you mean the entry to the game?
Yes.
Throwback.
Daniel was talking, but we stopped that shit right now.
anyways, the dancing, it didn't start out to be like the worst thing at all in the game, but eventually it was, because you end up dancing more than anything else.
Yes.
You end up dancing more than sword fighting, more than shooting cannons, and it ends up being, to me, the hardest part of the game. And I don't think that dancing should be the thing that's holding you back in a game about pirates.
Because if you missed one move,
you're done.
you're done, and you still
done,
have to
son.
you still have to finish the 2-minute dance, but you already missed a move, so you might as well walk away. You might as well get up and leave the game.
And there's 3 songs, maybe 3 or 4.
In the higher difficulties, it changes.
and
to more,
one of them is significantly not difficulty related. Maybe it is that proliferance of it. The faster
beautiful
songs,
ones. Yeah.
but it's not related to the beauty of the daughter or whatever. It just happens to sometimes you just get the really upbeat song, and you're like, you have half-second indicators, whereas in the slower songs you have full-second indicators, and it's just difficult. And you just like, I might as well walk the fuck away from my computer.
You know what would fix that? If there was an option where, like, if the dance starts and you're like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this, just be like, exit.
Yeah.
Just exit and go right back to the governor and be like,
You must mean
sorry.
beat a hasty retreat.
Beat a fucking hasty retreat right out of that ballroom.
Other thing that would satisfy it is if we were playing a game about pirates and piracy and not a game about dancing.
Apparently, though, ballroom dancing was a big part of piracy in the Spanish Main.
it's a ballroom blitz.
Since you're getting there, since you're a pirate, trigger the ballroom blitz, where your gang of raping, murdering pirates runs in and just kills the upper society of the
I think
city.
you're thinking of a blitzkrieg bop.
Wow, this is actually going full circle. This is
what
great.
I was, yeah, blitz, it's a ballroom blitz. No, it's a ballroom blitz because you're blitzing the ballroom.
It's a ballroom blitzkrieg bop.
Listen,
Shit.
God, I wish I
think you
knew
just
that.
broke the
I
internet.
wanted to fucking spoken word blitzkrieg ballroom blitz at you, but I don't know the words enough. I
Yeah,
guess-
neither do I.
Yeah, nobody does.
Blitzkrieg bop.
Yeah, that's the words.
All I remember is playing this game and just wanting to sail to London because London was calling.
Oh man. I think that we've exhausted this.
We can come up with some more pirate jokes.
I don't think we should. I'm sure we
Listen,
could.
you son of a gun. This is cool enough to pop the balls off a brass monkey.
I don't think that's even a pirate pun.
Well, it's a 17th century sailing pun. With the, it's a brass monkey carried the
London
iron
is
balls.
calling.
He just said that.
Yeah, you just caught that joke. Yeah.
Oh, you said London calling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Where the fuck were you, man?
I was thinking of the other one with the wolf.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The Season of the Wolf, a very different song from London Calling.
Duran Duran.
That's Hungry Like the Wolf. That's Duran Duran. That's not the Clash.
You know, if there was a German faction, we could have played Der Kommissar.
Ooh.
Okay, please got in this goddamn podcast.
I've been trying.
Try harder.
Our next month is going to be our year anniversary. It's going to be our 12th episode. Thanks for sticking with us if you have. I don't know how the fuck we've managed to come along this far.
Yeah, we all want to murder each other significantly more than we used to.
Maybe we won't get any further, so you might want to listen to the next month. We're going to be playing... Drum roll, please! Diablo 2! Yay! Diablo 2, the game we all know and love. I guess most people know and love that game.
You guys should stay a while and listen.
Please! I'm a very lonely Deckard. Diablo 2, you might have heard of it. It came after Diablo 1 and before Diablo 3.
Fuck you.
I'm told that Diablo 4 was just announced. I'm taking that on...
It was after StarCraft, right? When it came out?
Diablo 2?
Yeah.
I think so.
Diablo 1 was pre-StarCraft.
so.
Diablo 2 was post-StarCraft.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know something about a Heraldric staff.
You have quite a treasure there in that Roderick Cube. Give it to me.
Put your Heraldric head and Heraldric staff in my Heraldric box.
For anyone who's still listening.
What the fuck is the matter with you?
Yeah. So the only place we can get Diablo 2, if you want to get a legit copy, which we would suggest you do because that's legal, is going to be on Battle.net. I think it's still called Battle.net.
Battle.net.
Is it called, yeah,
Battle.
it's not BlizzNet, right?
If you go in your old CD case from high school, you should find a copy of Diablo 2 in there.
Yeah, I still have my hard copies. Yeah.
We all have our old copies. I don't know if you can play online. We plan to play online. So if we can't find a torrentable version that has multiplayer, we're going to buy the regular one, which is available through Blizzard. It's $10 for the base game, plus another $10 if you want the expansion. We're going to be going through that. We're going to be doing a significant amount of multiplayer because they do have online servers still. So if you do have friends and you want to play with them, I suggest you get the legit copy because I would never suggest you do anything otherwise.
Pretty heavy restrictions on leaving characters idle.
So don't leave your character idle. They'll delete that shit.
We're also going to, touch on how, Blizzard is faring.
Yeah. How do you guys think Blizzard is doing?
I mean, for a fairing, it's a big body that covers the studio so it can be launched into orbit.
And it's also very
which is
cold.
Great because their sales have fallen into the sun.
What? No.
Oh,
Come on, man. Blizzard.
Fairing. I was making a fairing joke.
We're going pretty opposite directions here.
Yeah.
That's okay though.
One of us is playing barbarian, one of us is playing sorceress. Clearly.
We'll see. We might have to necromance our way out of here. Anyways, that's all we have for this month. Thanks for bearing with us.
The end of that was just barely puns.
Just barely.
Zombie bears.
And we're in a whaling cavern.
Wrong game. All right, I'm can you finish up? Because I'm going to beat him.
We might want to record that, actually. This is
cool.
good content. All right, guys, we got to go. We got to go.
He's beating me with 1,000.
I murdered a dog's penis with my anus.